Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at AFK Journey, and in particular, guiding you through the best heroes to summon when you start the game, right? It's very important we come into our all-hero recruitment, like who are we putting on our wish list and why. We're going to be breaking that down in today's video. Again, thank you to AFK Journey for sponsoring this video. We did a quick look before at the game and I really enjoyed it, so I'm really happy to be back in time for the full official release, right? The game is releasing on the 27th of March, which is really cool. I'm on the test server right now, which is fantastic to see, but I'm actually really looking forward to diving in and starting my account like for real with you all on the 27th, so make sure to be there. You can pre-register with the link down in the description below to get some free stuff when you start out. Actually, one of the heroes we're going to be looking at today is one of the free ones, so make sure to do that. Also worth noting, this is actually massive, right? We're going to be talking about our wish list and all of that, but if you're going like, man, I don't want to make decisions about the heroes right when I start, well, you'll have to make some. But the good news is that there is this all-hero free login reward event running when the game goes live. I think it's going to look, I mean, this is the test server, things might change a little bit, but it should look broadly like this. And what happens in that? Very simple. Every day when we log in for the first 28 days, we're getting, well, for most of the days, we're getting an entire hero, right? Just for free, just for logging in, which is cool. Then for the last few days, you get some extra stuff. On top of that, for every 7 days that you log in, you're going to be getting an epic hero. So we've got like, I still get confused about this. You've got sort of the ones that start off at purple, and then you've got the epic ones, which are the ones that start off at gold. But of course, you can upgrade the rarities of your champions, of your heroes, the more that you play. So yeah, basically every time you log in for 7 days, you're going to be able to flip one of these cards and get a random hero, and they'll be removed. Ultimately, you'll get everything, right? Ultimately, you will get, at least that's the one, right? You'll get all of the elite heroes pretty quickly. Then you will eventually get all of the epic heroes that are in the game when it launches, and all of the celestial and hypogean heroes as well, which are kind of like, you know, the void affinity heroes, to put it in like a raid context. That's pretty awesome. You'll get one copy of each, but you want more than that. You want more than one copy because you can upgrade their power by ascending. So for instance, we've got a cool skin on Muriel.
Flames will never hurt you.
You probably won't even recognize her in this game. It's super cool, right? The skins in this game. Here we go. Her default skin, you're going to see her early on in the story. And then we've got this one. The boobas. The boobas are out. They've been set free. They're loose. They're coming to get us. But we can, with 3 copies, extra copies of her, she's already been ascended once, up to Elite Plus. We can bring her up into Epic, right? So now, bam, she's an Epic hero. Just like that. So she gets a huge chunk of extra power by doing that. And yeah, fantastic. As you go, you know, at Legendary Plus, you're going to unlock extra abilities. At Mythic Plus, even more. And then at Supreme Plus, you're going to get even more as well. Essentially, upgrading the power of each of her default skills and making them stronger. So yep, that's basically what's happening there. And hey, it's me. I'm back a couple of days later since recording the first part of the video because the game has actually gone live before the sponsorship is due out, the sponsored video. So I said, hey, why the heck not show you the wish list that I'm actually running in game, right? On the first day. I'm at about AFK. I'm on AFK stage 99 right now. You know, after the first day of playing. Oh, let's grab some rewards. Very, very nice. So let me show you what I've been running and what I find to be really strong in the early game and what I'm looking at then moving forwards into the late game. I'll probably do another video. I'm going to start a whole channel, guys, called Nub's Journey on AFK Journey. We'll talk about the rate up recruitment over on that one. Let's just focus on the wish list for the all hero recruitment for this particular video. So this is what I'm running on my wish list, and let me break it down for you. So let's actually touch on the Lightbearer A tier heroes first, the A level heroes. I highly recommend Marilee and Karin. I am loving these heroes. So Marilee, she gets really strong later in the game. Let me show you her actually. Let me show you these two here. So we'll keep hopping back and forth so I can actually break down why. So you've got the reasoning for these heroes. So I'm using, let's touch on Karin first. I'm using Karin right now. Karin is fantastic early game. I actually find him to be a huge upgrade for me personally over Valen. Valen, I find to be squishy. He just does damage. I find him to not be that good. He really fell off hard. Karin, on the other hand, is very tanky. He actually gives himself and the ally with the lowest HP a big shield. And then he does true damage as well, which is great. His ultimate is an AoE immobilize that can do knockback. Great. There's more crit rate as well. Where he gets, I think, really strong is later on in the game, I think, where, yeah, he's going to start doing additional true damage with follow-up attacks. So this is a pretty big deal. When Karin and allies within 2 tiles cast their ultimates 3 times in a row, he starts doing extra true damage equal to max HP. And this, later in the game, you need to get a lot of copies of Karin. You need to get him to... where is this when you unlock it? I think it's like... It's Supreme Plus. It's maybe not Supreme Plus, but he has to be a really, really high Ascension. You need lots of copies of him. Hence, you need to build him on the wish list. He's going to become a boss killer, right? Just shredding their max HP with true damage. The true damage is just strong. He's tanky on the front line. He's helping you survive. He's putting out some crowd control. He's doing good damage. He's just an all-rounder. He does everything. So I'm a huge fan of him. The other one I really like is, again, Marilee. She is another boss killer, but that comes into her own a bit later in the game. So it's this one right here. Again, you need to get her very much ascended, but when you are, with Battlefield Learning, her attack increases by 5% when other allies cast an ultimate up to 6 stacks. At 6 stacks, her normal attacks will do true damage, which again is going to shred through bosses. She's just a ranged damage dealer, right? She's going to do extra attacks with a bit of a stun. She boosts her attack speed when there's no enemies nearby. She jumps away, I think, from enemies and does some damage to them. Yeah, she's sort of simple and straightforward, but the idea is, okay, we get her high ascension, and she starts to become an absolute boss killer, which is really, really nice. So they're the two I like there. For the Lightbearer legendaries, or S levels that you can get, I highly recommend Rowan. Rowan is actually my highest ranked guy right now. I highly, highly recommend it. He's such a hard carry early in the game, right? So he is a energy battery. He will just, with his ultimate, he'll just start throwing out coins everywhere, and it will power up the ultimate charge for all of your other characters that are near him. So he helps you get your ultimates first. So let's say you're in the arena, you get your ultimates first, you actually maybe kill some of their team, you're miles ahead in the fight, right? He is amazing. He also does healing, which is great. He actually does a little bit of damage as well. He can steal some energy. And yeah, he's going to get more haste. He's just worth, I think, leveling up. He is fantastic. And yeah, it's just an amazing support early game. Have got Vala, but she's not on the wish list. My wish list then for the Lightbearer faction, we've got like a range damage with Marilee. We've got an off tank with him. We've got Rowan for support. I have actually put in Temesia as our tank. Now, she is a weird tank. She's just constantly moving around the battlefield, right? She doesn't just stand in a spot. She's constantly galloping around. But yeah, she does lots of disruption. She's tanky. So I think that she is a good pickup as well. Again, at a higher rank here, yeah, she gets immunity to all crowd control permanently after doing Knight's Heart. I think her ultimate twice once you get her ascended up to unlock this 4th skill here, or whichever, yeah, the 5th skill here. So again, it's a pretty big deal to get lots of copies of her because she's going to be really, really strong. She'll start doing true damage. She becomes immune to crowd control and starts healing herself up as well. It becomes pretty powerful. So yeah, I would be picking her. Jumping back to the wish list, and let's show you where we are then for our next faction. Let's break them down faction by faction. So that's what I like for the Lightbearers. Anything I could potentially change here. You can switch stuff in. Like Muriel, I wouldn't be too bothered. I think Lucius is pretty good early game. He's a decent early game pick. If he's your tank, you get lots of copies of him for free. So I do like Lucius. Yeah, Cassidy's also a pretty good AoE damage dealer. If you want a mage for the faction, Cassidy's actually really nice as well. For the Maulers, you've got very strong A levels here and a couple of very strong S levels. So this is what I like to break down. So let's jump over and let me break down why I like these particular heroes. Let's go have a look. So, jump to our collection, look at the heroes. For the Maulers, I think there's a couple of picks here. Odie is definitely the one I'd be locking in. Odie is massive single target damage, incredible damage dealer. And again, when we get him up higher, he's going to get more attack speed. And he's going to start doing... that's it. So with this one, again, if we get him very ascended, he's going to start actually executing enemies when their HP falls below a certain limit. So his damage just goes crazy. He's doing poison. He's attacking with his normal attack. He's just lots of poison, lots of single target damage, executing enemies. He's a damage dealer MVP, so I definitely lock him in. Then for me, I think you've got sort of 3 potential choices here. I apparently, I haven't played with her yet because she wasn't on the beta, but apparently Coco is really good as a support. She's sort of healing you up and buffing you, I think, a damage reduction. Apparently she's really good, but I've not played with her yet. I think the safer picks, I think one of these 2 are really good. Antandra, very, very nice tank. She's great, right? With her ultimate, she taunts enemies, reduces damage, then does an AoE stun. Again, she's similar to Corrin. She's protecting one of your allies, which is nice. So boosting up their defenses and her, not herself, but one of your other allies. So makes your other frontliner, maybe an assassin, much tankier. Going to reduce enemies' attack in the front. I find she's very, very solid. Yeah, again, protecting your allies. So she makes your other frontline tankier. She's just a tanky tank. Does what you want on the tin, right? Great tank. So that's great to have for this faction. Kruger is another great option. He is really a boss killer. The downside is that's it. I think he's only really good for bosses, but he does defense shred. Every time he does an ultimate, he reduces their physical defense by 10% up to 4 times. You can put shattered armor on with this move as well, right? Yeah, enemies who are vulnerable, he's going to make them vulnerable, increasing their physical damage taken. He's just all about, and I think he just works really well, even from the start. Yeah, he works well from the start. He gets some nice stuff later, but he's just an early game, easy pickup for, like, the Dream Realm. Just make that boss take way more physical damage. Simple and straightforward. So I do like one of those 2 alongside the Odie. I personally have Kruger in, but I've already got Antandra a bit leveled up. You know, I might sort of switch them back and forth. Because, again, I feel like he's pretty good even without that many copies, whereas she kind of does want more copies. So that's sort of up to you. Yeah, for the S levels for them, sadly, I don't have any yet, as you can see. I would definitely be putting in Smokey and Mirky, and this is why I'm saying we maybe don't put in Coco into our wish list here at the start. Smokey and Mirky are your support, and they're absolutely fantastic. So Smokey and Mirky, they create this big aura around them, which is just constantly healing allies around it, which is really strong. It will boost the attack of allies in the aura as well, and yeah, then, you know, he can use his skill to do burst healing too. I think he actually starts doing maybe damage at some point. It can go further. And yeah, enemies are still going to lose max HP when you get lots and lots of copies of him. That's going to be quite a ways away, of course. But yeah, Smokey Mirky, just your classic support. Boosting your team, healing, making them do more damage. Fantastic. He is great. I think for me then there's 2 nice choices. Brutus is decent. I wasn't a huge fan of Brutus when I used him on the beta, personally. I found him to be a bit underwhelming. But he is tanky. He's got an AoE. I think Brutus becomes a lot better when you get more copies of him, though, right? Because he starts to get... Basically, what Brutus does, when he drops low on life, when he's about to be killed, he basically becomes unkillable for 5 seconds, which is cool. He has a taunt and can reduce enemies' physical defense. That's really nice. And his ultimate is the spin to win. He just spins to win, does lots of damage, and becomes immune to crowd control. That's nice. I think I found that he didn't do that much damage and just kind of died kind of quickly anyway. But I think he scales up well because he starts to get life drain and extra as you get him higher up. I saw right there that he's going to get life drain while he's immune to damage as well. I think that's where he becomes a lot stronger. Cleaving Strike is also really good, where again, it's going to heal him up and give him life drain. I think that's where he becomes a lot stronger, is when you start getting these life drain passives. So it's like, okay, yeah, I go unkillable, but I don't just die 5 seconds later when I come back. I'm actually going to heal up a ton. He's going to stay around for longer. So he's definitely worth considering. I personally really like Shakir when I tried Shakir. Shakir actually comes in with some built-in lifesteal, I think. Yeah, he actually gets life drain while he's in wolf form from like early game, which is great, right? So he's just an assassin. He's a rogue, jumping in the back line, taking out their characters. He's got ways to heal himself up. I found that he was really solid. So I actually found him to be a lot more useful on the beta than Brutus, but I think Brutus has that potential, I think, when you get lots of copies of him. But that's what I'm doing. Jumping over then to our third faction, our second to last faction. What am I doing here? And then the Graveborn one is very straightforward. Wilder, interesting choices here. This one is a bit tricky. I'm not actually 100% sure that I'm set with my A-level ones. So let me show you. So for the A-levels, I think I'd probably definitely be locking in Damien. Damien is just your support, right? Your healer. Just get a good healer locked in. He's A level, easy to rank up. He does lots of healing, does some stuns as well. He's just a solid healer. Damien is great. I have Leica in at the moment. You get a free copy for her if you pre-register for the game. So, like, I started with a free copy. That's nice. She does good damage, and she's going to be boosting up the damage your allies do when they stand in her nebula reflection. They're going to summon in meteors for their attacks. She's a good damage dealer. She's solid. I'm not sure how well she holds up late game. I do think that this old guy Arden is a pretty good mage for an A level. So he's quite worth considering as well, putting in. But I'm sticking with Leica for now for just the more straightforward damage for like the sort of the faction specific stuff. For the S levels, a couple of very strong options here. I think Granny is a great choice. She is an amazing tank, super tanky, holds the front line. That's great. I was using her for ages. I actually just got Thoran, and I've actually switched to Thoran. We'll talk about him in a second. With the Graveborn, but Granny's great. Big old tank on the front line, great for the faction. I think Huan is a really good one as well. Huan is a top tier healer. Again, tons and tons of healing. So yeah, I mean, you want the S level healer? Huan is the one to go for. I do believe that Aaron is really good as well. He's the rogue, right? So if you want someone that is going to be just dealing lots of damage and disrupting the enemy backline, and I believe Aaron is well worth going for. But yeah, he's pretty cool as well. So he's an option too. So for instance, maybe like if you have a really, really strong Damien, you might go, okay, I got lots of copies of Damien. Maybe I won't go for Huan, I'll go for Aaron instead. Or if you got a really strong Huan, maybe you won't go for Damien. It's sort of up to you how you're going to mix and match it. But for me, I've got Huan and Granny in there for now. But Aaron is one I've got my eye on for the future. And then finally for Graveborn, very straightforward, I think, for Graveborn, at least for my testing in the beta. Thoran and Cecia, lock it in, easy. And yeah, so simple enough for this one, and we'll actually finish on this. I don't think we even need to break it down much, but Cecia, everybody seems to get a copy of Cecia for free when you start the game, and she's gonna hard carry you for ages. She does great damage, even a bit of crowd control when her ultimate entangles enemies and blocks them out for a split second. It's great. I think she gets more crowd control as you go further on as well. Her summon, Mr. Carlisle, does great damage and can tank for you a bit. She's fantastic, super good. Thoran then is considered the best tank in the game at the moment. He's super tanky, brings himself back from the dead. He does actually potentially a ton of damage on harder stages as well. When there's huge incoming damage with his ultimate, he can reflect it back, and it's very powerful. So this is a super strong combo, and right there, you get the two of these, and bam, you got your two-piece. You can. What I'm doing right now is two-piece Graveborn with three-piece Lightbearer. Viperion then is my favorite other Graveborn right now, and that would actually give you 3 Graveborn if you want to run triple. Viperion is a mage. He does good damage, great AoE damage, so he's a really good complement to Cecia. I actually find in lots of fights in the story, I mean, he can actually out-damage Cecia. Like, he's really, really strong. And then, I think her name is Sylviana. She's a rogue. So she's a solid option, I think, as well, especially you want to go into the arena early on, like a Graveborn team. And then with the Graveborns don't have any really good support. I think this guy heals, but I did not like him when I used him, so I'm not going for him at all. I'd be bringing in a healer, a support, like probably Rowan, right? Or Huan, whoever you got, or Smokey or Mirky. One of these 3 that you will have got. You get a guaranteed one, I think, after 30 pulls as well. I'd be bringing in one of those healers, maybe trying to finish the 2-set bonus at one of those factions and going for these 3 Graveborn, or whatever, or using the 2 Graveborn with 3. I'm doing a triple Lightbearer with the double Graveborn myself, but sort of up to you. But look, there you go. Again, huge thank you to Lilith Games and AFK Journey for sponsoring this video. It has been a ton of fun. Hopefully this was helpful, breaking down the early game wish list in depth for you. Yeah, there you go. That's where I'm at. That's what I've been doing for the first couple of days, and we will see how things go. Again, I will be making videos over on Nub's Journey and breaking down any of the major changes I make to my strategy as we learn more about the game, unlock more stuff. I'll be explaining it for you there and guiding you through it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks to Lilith Games for sponsoring, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.